Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about shutter speed. We've already talked about two different ways of controlling the amount of light that comes into your camera through the use of ISO and also the size of your aperture. Shutter speed also controls the amount of light that comes into your camera, but just like the other two, it has side effects as well. And we're going to take a look at some of those side effects in just a moment. Most of your DSLR cameras, at least, allow you to set a shutter speed from as long as you want it to be, it's called a bulb setting, to maybe 4,000th of a second or less, and that's pretty darn quick. Let's take a look at some of these pictures of my ceiling fan here, and I'll show you the effect that a shutter speed can have of the motion on a photo. So here we're taking a look at 6 different photos, and you can see that they're marked by their shutter speed. It runs from 1/10 of a second all the way up to 1,000th of a second. You can see that in that first photo it looks a little bit like an airplane propeller, where in the very last photo it's almost dead still. So when you're talking about wanting to shoot action photos, the idea here is that you use a faster shutter speed. If you want blur in your photos, you use a slower shutter speed. So I really doubt you're going to be taking pictures of your ceiling fan. So let's take a look at a few examples where we put shutter speed into a practical application. Shooting a hummingbird can be a challenge. This first photo was taken at 1/800th of a second, and you can see blur in the wings, compared to the second photo taken at 1/2000th of a second. Another example is this surfer. That was shot at 1/800th of a second as well. Let's take a look at these waterfall photos. The first one was shot at 200th of a second. You can see a little motion in that back fall, but the forward fall looks pretty much frozen in time. Versus this photo that was taken at 1.3 seconds, which turned the water into a nice silky smooth appearance, giving it a beautiful flow. These fireworks were shot at 1/60th of a second. And again, it's really all about trial and error. You need to try a few different shutter exposures and apertures for that matter, and see what you're getting and whether or not you like it. Now this building shot at night was shot at 1/8 of a second. And again, I tried several different shutter speeds trying to get the exposure that I really wanted. So my tip for today is, if you have to take a photo at 1/60th of a second or less, and you do not have a tripod and you can't brace your camera, don't hold your breath. Your heart will actually make your hands shake. Take a deep breath, exhale slowly while you press the shutter button.